Hi, I'm Sally, here to help you pin down the finer details of your trip. So at this point, I've assumed that you've got your itinerary planned, but if not, go back and watch my other videos. So, assuming you've already booked your accommodation and figured out your transportation throughout the trip, you really don't need to do anything more, but if you do a little bit more work, planning, research, you're going to get way more value out of your trip. You're going to spend less time Googling things during your vacation. You're also going to avoid some potential FOMO situations. So, a guidebook is a good place to start, but the internet is good too as we go through these. So, first, look into whether there's any events you'd like to attend. Mark these down on your Google Sheet. Now is the time to make restaurant reservations if you're a big foodie. Flag them on your map. Use Google Maps, use these little icons, and write them down in your Google Sheet. In fact, for any restaurants, sites, even shopping of interest to me that I think if I'm in the area, it'd be nice to drop in, or ones that I definitely for sure want to go to, I flag those on my Google map because then when I wake up in the morning, say in a big city, just depending on my mood that day, I'll just open my map, choose one of the neighborhoods that have a bunch of flags, and I'll just head in that direction and just wander around and just pop into the different things that I've flagged. So this is a great way to plan some of your trip ahead of time, but still allow some spontaneity. Write down any things in your Google Excel sheet that are really important to you, and maybe choose a day when you want to visit. Make sure they're going to be open that day. It's a good time to Google also if the cities you're visiting have a free walking tour. These tours usually aren't free. People do expect a cash tip at the end, but they're a really good introduction to the city, to get oriented, to meet some people, and to make plans for the rest of your visit. You might also be interested in scheduling some more specific walking tours or other types of tours, or downloading an audio guide. So do that now. Look into those things. Now, more and more museums, art galleries, sites do require you nowadays to make a reservation ahead of time. It's kind of an annoying trend, but make sure that you look into those for any sites that you really want to see so that you don't miss out. I'd recommend booking 1 or 2 ticketed events right now. So seeing a live performance is an amazing way to get a little more out of your trip. You get to see often an amazing venue that you'd normally have to pay just to go inside, provided, if it's a play or some kind of speaking event, if it's in English, which it often is, even in foreign countries, it's going to be a really memorable experience. Or you could go see some dance, some live music. These are such a great way to enhance your trip. I do not recommend booking something like this on your first night because you're probably going to be tired and jet lagged. A guidebook will give you some tips about whether there's a scenic boat ride, maybe a scenic bus ride that's really worth your while. I would usually note that down in my Google Sheet. When my feet get really tired, I sort of have an option to maybe go do something where I get to sit down for a little while. So guidebook's also a good place to find out if there's a free day in the city that you're visiting, especially if you like to save money. A lot of cities have a free day for museums either once a week or once a month. That's a great thing to write down. So as you're doing this planning, make sure that you note if there's anything you need to do to prepare ahead of time or during the trip. For example, if you're buying opera tickets, make sure you write down if you need to go pick up your tickets ahead of time from the box office. That way when you're on your trip, you can just check in with your Google Sheet 1 or 2 times a day. Just make sure you're on top of all these details. If you do this ahead of time, it's just going to make your trip way smoother and more enjoyable. You're not going to miss out on things. I personally have missed out on some amazing things just because I did not do enough research or plan ahead of time. It's nice to be spontaneous, but you don't want to miss that major site. So do the work now, and congratulations on being proactive and avoiding those situations. So that's all my tips. That's pretty simple, straightforward. I have one more video about how to prepare yourself to actually go on your trip. Things like visas and vaccinations and packing. Check that out.